I was notorious among the Manhattan elite for being a certified nightmare. When it came to my fiancé, Declan Thatcher, I was accustomed to screaming demands and snapping orders. If I was even slightly put out, I could turn the Thatcher penthouse into a 5-alarm disaster zone. Until last night, I had a dream. In the dream, I was the villainess in a novel, and because I was so high maintenance, I finally exhausted Declan's patience. He tossed me out. The ending was grim. My family, the Ashworths, lost everything, and I was left homeless, fighting stray dogs for a moldy piece of sourdough on the street. The fear woke me up in a cold sweat. My silk pajamas were soaking wet. Clutching my wildly beating heart and staring at the sprawling, several thousand square foot master suite, I made a solemn vow. I had to change. For the sake of my couture wardrobe, my platinum Amex, and, most importantly, for avoiding sour bread. I would become the ideal partner, thoughtful, gentle, and utterly compliant. Even if it was all an act, I'd commit to the role for life. Today was the perfect testing ground. Declan was flying to Europe to finalize a major corporate merger. This was usually peak hour for my dramatics. I cornered him in the walk-in closet as he was fastening his cufflinks. He was wearing a dark gray bespoke suit, his posture impeccable, his expression cool and distant. He didn't even lift his head when I walked in, just offered a non-committal grunt. Normally, I would have ripped his tie off and, as I'd once threatened, strangled him with it. But today, I practiced restraint. I took a deep breath and shoved my phone under his nose. The screen displayed a stunning pink diamond necklace, something only seen at a private, high-end auction. Declan Thatcher, you are to buy this for me during your trip. No excuses. My tone was still demanding, but my heart was hammering. This was the test. The book said a man who was still willing to spend lavishly had not yet abandoned you. Declan paused his movement. He finally looked up, his eyes devoid of any discernible emotion. Understood. That was it? That flimsy? I pouted in dissatisfaction, the urge to lash out a physical ache. I stepped onto my toes, leaned in close to his ear, and let out a petulant huff. Declan, do you even love me anymore? The cufflink snapped shut. The next second, he leaned down, his warm lips falling precisely onto the corner of my mouth for a quick peck. Yes. I'll buy it. Be good while I'm gone. His voice was even, but I was entirely mollified. I released my grip on his tie, bestowed upon him a charitable kiss on the cheek, and released him to his private jet. During Declan's week-long absence, I stayed true to my Queen of Drama professional code. I sent him dozens of voice notes daily, all about mundane nonsense. I'm craving the limited edition black truffle macaroons from La Belle Pâtisserie in the village. Bring me a dozen when you land. My new dress looks awful, and it's your fault for not being here to give me fashion advice. What time is your flight getting in, exactly? One night, at 3 in the morning, I couldn't sleep and suddenly felt an overwhelming need to see the European night sky. I video called him immediately. It was evening for him, and he answered on the first ring. The background was an ornate conference room filled with a group of sharply dressed foreign executives. Declan raised a hand, signaled a pause to the room, and walked with his phone over to a massive floor-to-ceiling window. What do you want to see? The European cityscape was muted and brilliant in the lens. The executives in the meeting room exchanged priceless, bewildered glances. I felt zero guilt, only critique. It's nothing special. Not nearly as good as the view from our penthouse. Declan let out a low chuckle. Agreed. I'll show you the one at home. When I hung up, my best friend Sutton's text immediately popped up. Stella, you are reaching peak diva status. Declan is an ice king, the epitome of the untouchable enigma. You're going to push him away eventually. I looked at my dazzling reflection in the mirror, tossing my hair with supreme confidence. Men line up for me from Manhattan to Monaco. Declan Thatcher is lucky I chose him. Sutton sent a string of ellipses. I ignored